Welcome to we're one game over 500 edition of Sharing Sox. I'm Southside Sox duty geezer Leigh Allan, and with me my son, and back to being West Coast correspondent Will, who had a pleasant flight till, I don't know, 3 in the morning or something on Tuesday to get back to Los Angeles. Uh, wow, it's exciting baseball out there. The question we have at this moment, and there are many, but the big one is, has the female person of sveltness-challengedness already taken the stage, or is she still in her dressing room warming up?
She is, he's speaking of the proverbial fat lady, which,
I didn't want to use those terms.
this, yeah, but we'll quote it. We'll quote it. We'll say it's a thing from the past. She has not only warmed up, she's feeling great. When she takes in a deep breath, she feels her diaphragm expand, her lungs fill, she's breathing from the gut like what they ask you to. Everything's going right. She just had her sip of tea with a little throat coat just to make it easy. She's stepping up to the microphone. She's tapped on it to make sure it works. Everything's working great. She's taking one last deep breath before belting that huge note.
Are the judges smiling at her?
The judges are smiling. They know she's gonna nail it, kid. She is gonna nail it. And right before it comes out, they hit pause. And that's where we are right now. Oh my gosh.
We're playing White Sox Got Talent. That's the show.
Yeah. Well, that's a failed series. I can guarantee you this. I don't know everything about Hollywood yet, but White Sox Got Talent, not looking good. Not looking good.
Wow. 63 and 62, 4 games behind Cleveland, and really more than that behind. Because even if they were to overcome 4 games, unless they beat Cleveland all 4 remaining times, they still lose to them. Because Cleveland's up 9-6 on the season series and need only one more win of the final 4 to break the tiebreaker. And I will say one thing for us on our behalf. Months ago, we said that before they were even close to first place, that the team to worry about was Cleveland, not Minnesota. We were ahead of the game there. We weren't ahead of the game on much other stuff.
Yeah, we have been right about so few things. But one of them is definitely that Minnesota was not a real threat, and that Cleveland somehow was a real threat. Here they are. They're in first place. They actually have a positive.
Did nothing at the trading deadline.
Nothing. Nary a thing.
Well, we got Jake Diekman.
They actually have a positive run differential. We are sitting at -32 on August 26th. Ladies and gentlemen of the podcast, it is over. It is over.
We should say that you mentioned August 26th, but for those who don't have a calendar handy, this is Friday morning on the day after the Baltimore game, where Baltimore tried to give the game to the Sox, letting in a lead run on an error. And the Sox refused to accept that. Gentlemanly, I guess, if you're a visitor. And strange things. Now, Adam Engel dropped a foul fly ball, routine fly ball. These things happen. They do not happen to him often. I will not get on him. It was only a foul ball. 2 strikes then on a guy who has 20 major league at-bats, in which he has 3 hits, and he has struck out more than half the time. He could probably catch up with Liam Hendriks' fastball if the mound was 150 feet away, but not at 60 feet. And they decide, let's go with a curve. That should be fun. And that's his worst pitch, of course. He hangs it. The kid hits it, I don't know, 800 feet or so. Tie game. And then they can't score twice with a Manfred man. And
you deserve to lose.
I mean, I thought they were going to lose in the 10th. That it was kind of freaky they didn't lose in the 10th. Nice play by Josh, I guess. But Uh,
To come out of extra innings with the Manfred man without a run, especially twice. I mean, that seems impossible. That I just don't even
they
know
not
how
only
you
didn't
do
score
that.
him, they never got into third.
Ladies and gentlemen of the podcast, may I repeat, it is over. It is
I mean,
over. We are
talk.
63 and 62. We have the same manager we had when we were 0-0 and a favorite to win the American League, or at
By
least
10
be in the
games.
top, at least
Correct.
be in the top three of the entire American League itself. We are in third place in the American League Central, which is a joke of a division. I don't see any way you come back from this with La Russa. In fact, I will declare right now there is no way you come back with La Russa. There's no
No,
way.
there's
There's
also
no
no way
way.
he's going. No way he's
All
going
the
to be fired.
studies are in. The studies are in from all the major universities around the country. All of them have come back conclusive. If you keep Tony La Russa, you are a losing baseball team. And that is what we have decided to be. I think
And
we
and
are,
frankly, Rick Hahn, I'm tired of him too.
yeah, Rick Hahn
Uh,
needs to go. I don't care if you won, manager of the century, GM of the century. I don't care. It's pathetic. We are a horribly run baseball franchise. I am sporting my Ken Griffey Jr. video game version hat today because a video game version of Ken Griffey Jr. would beat any of these White Sox players in real
I'm
life
wearing
today.
my Ozzie autograph hat. So uh, I was listening this morning. I grocery shop on Fridays normally, and I was on the way to the store. I was listening to the score, and they were spending a long time tearing into the White Sox. One of the guys is actually a White Sox fan, so he was really bitter about it. But what they were getting on, other than managerial ineptitude in general and running the team, was how they are dealing with injuries. Luis Robert obviously cannot swing a bat. He's holding it with one hand. He is so good. He's gotten a couple of hits with one hand, but basically he's got a hand that cannot be on the bat. It is so bad. And then they wrap it after the game, and he bats in a critical situation, and of course strikes out. Then Yohan Moncada comes charging in on a ball, gets a slight hamstring. They pull him out, but not then. 4 innings later. So, and he showed that he could still run. So why did he come out then? Who knows? Michael Kopech in the Kansas City game. Bizarre. He obviously cannot throw during warmups. He can't get the ball up to 90 miles an hour, and he's not Mark Burley. There's something very wrong. They go out, they talk to him, they don't pull him until 4 runs later, and who knows what happened to the kid's arm in the interim. Now, it may be the best thing that could happen for Kopech is to go on the IL so they don't overpitch him by 60 innings. But
I
still,
agree. I mean, Kopech's done for the year, and if they bring him back at any point, if that's even possible, is he on the 60-day or is he on the 15?
no, he's just on the 15 days. So he could come back around your birthday,
They'd
10th of
be,
September.
yeah, they would be stupid to have him throw another pitch, which means that they'll have him throw another pitch. So if I were Michael Kopech, I would just be trying to stay on that IL until I can get the hell out of Chicago and go play baseball for a team that knows what they're doing. Our injury management, none of it makes any sense. We must have the worst trainers in the history of Major League Baseball. Sorry, trainers. Please come on the podcast and tell us that we're wrong. I would love to hear from you that no, it's not us, because it's so bad. I have to believe it's coming from somewhere else because, trainers are trained to be trainers. They know what they're doing for the most part. I don't know what the heck's going on in Chicago. It it is an absolute embarrassment. Honestly, I hope all these guys just sit on the IL. They all get hurt every day anyway. You might as well put the whole team on the IL. bring up a bunch of minor leaguers, lose the next 30 games, and just wallow in your embarrassment for the rest of the year. It's absolutely pathetic. I can't even. I mean, we've talked about this. Watching the White Sox win right now isn't fun. We don't
No,
win in fun ways.
I often, and earlier in the season and in other seasons, even the losing seasons, would wish, oh, we're watching this show, which is okay, but I wish I could watch the ball game. I don't feel that way. I don't want to watch the ball game. I mean, I will if it's an afternoon game. I'll sit around and watch it, but I don't want to turn over the channel and watch the game. We were mentioning it's over. All three of the uh, computerized algorithmic predictors tend to agree. But Coda, 82 and 80, Fangraphs, 82 and 80, 538, very optimistic, 83 and 79. 4 games back of the of Cleveland, or 3 games back, your choice. The chance of the White Sox winning the division under 20% at Fangraphs, 18% at Pacoda. I mean, at 538 and 13.9 at Pacoda. The most optimistic of them making the playoffs at all, and they're 5 games out of the wild card right now. Yeah, from 6th place, is 31%. They started the season with a prediction like 99% of winning the division. And the injury thing, fans, teams, everybody whine about injuries. It's not whining anymore. These are really stupid. And the way they're being handling is real stupid. Every team has bad luck. Every team has injuries. Every team, I mean, pitching injuries are just inevitable. It's not natural to throw a rock 100 miles an hour and try to get it go wavy in the air. Position player injuries, that's not that hard a job, other than catcher. Catcher is a ruggedly hard job. The rest of them, it's not that hard. And you should be able to get in condition where you don't get hurt doing that regularly. Maybe a freak thing, you trip over a base, your toe catches when you're going to make a catch. These things happen. But this is just happening to the White Sox in the natural course of baseball actions that you have to anticipate.
It's constant. It's constant. It's daily, too. These are not, 60-year-old guys, 70-year-old guys, 80-year-old guys, 90-year-old guys. These are 26-year-olds. These
and
are guys.
Who is the one who is not injured ever and comes out every day, even though he's, I'm sure, hurting a lot, is the oldest player on the team.
And I do think, just while we're on Abreu, I think we are looking at the final month of Abreu's career with the White Sox. I think we should at least rally behind Jose. But if we do not get rid of La Russa, there is a 0% chance he will even want to come back to this team. Why would you want to come back to this team right now? We are so unappealing to free agents with our god-awful coach and a morale that seems to be one of the worst in baseball. I don't know why anyone would come to this team, and I don't know why anyone with an expiring contract would stay on this team for less money, because we also don't pay guys. So it's sad to say this is the end of the Abreu era. I do firmly believe that. He's been the one bright light on the White Sox for so many years, and we actually thought, we're past that era of Jose Abreu being the only bright light, and now we get to see Jose Abreu being part of this bigger, more successful thing.
And not having to play as if the entire game depends on him. Because that's always been, when Jose has a weakness, it is trying to put the whole game on his shoulders and then swinging at bad pitches.
What has Jose shown us? He has to do it.
Yeah.
Every time we think, oh, good, he doesn't have to do that anymore, he has to do it. He has to do it. It's just painful to watch at this point. This guy who has given everything to this team, and keeping La Russa in a lot of ways is an insult to Jose and his legacy.
It's an insult to the whole damn team.
Yeah, and the fan base. It's an absolute slap in the face to your fan base who have been screaming tire phony from the crowd for months and months now, consistently, and it's clearly not even a consideration. No other team with the expectations the White Sox had could sit at 63 and 62 with a negative 32 run differential on August 26th and keep their manager. No other team.
Yeah, the run differential doesn't bother me because run differential is so much a factor of type of team. Some teams win a lot of close games and get blown out on occasion, have a negative run differential, and they're really a very good team, and vice versa. It can happen the other way. It can have a positive run differential because you got a bunch of boomers.
But what were we
But
supposed to have this year? Playing in the AL Central.
I
What
don't
were
know,
we supposed to have
plus
at this point?
500.
Exactly. We're not a team where the whole idea was we're going to win close games. We were a team going in that was we're going to win every game 8-1. That is what we were expecting going into this year. That is what this team is built to do. We just have a coach who has been asleep since 2018. So
He's been asleep since 2011.
I'm being generous. I'm giving him the 7-year cushion. We got to take our break real quick. We can talk about moving forward, what we have coming up. We have had one of the better records in baseball over the past month, but we've been playing the worst teams in all of baseball, and it's still not that good of a record. Let's take our break, and we will be right back on Sharing Sox. Welcome back to Sharing Sox. We unfortunately had to give you the news that everything is over and our spirit has died. But let's talk about things moving forward. What are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at a week of, once again, really bad teams. 3 games with Arizona, 3 games with Kansas City, and now Greinke's on the IL. We're not going to have to face him. So Kansas City will be even worse than it has been all year. We can't beat Kansas City. I believe they just can't do it, which is unbelievable. Everybody else has had some real easy time with it. Yeah, it's and then 3 games at home against Minnesota, which is going downhill faster than the White Sox are going downhill. Buxton's been on the IL, or at least heard if he's not on the IL almost all the time, and he's kind of their engine, even though Correa is doing well, but that's about it. And they've had their lefty guys who are supposed to be sluggers are out for the season. I mean, they've just, and their entire pitching staff, our injuries are pittance compared to what Minnesota's had. Still, that's it. That's the week. Maybe we can get in. Once I went drop in Elvis Andrus. He's hitting 200, which means he's Leury Garcia with a glove. So haven't hurt by having Leury on the IL. Although God knows when he comes back, he'll probably play the entire field by himself or something. We have guys. Incidentally, you should give credit where credit's due. Gavin Sheets, who's from Baltimore, really showed off for his dad in the hometown, folks. He's had a big week.
Yeah, he actually was heating up a little before that too. Gavin is now hitting over 250, I think, which, of course doesn't feel like something to celebrate, but when you're rooting for this White Sox team, getting anyone up over 250 who wasn't there before is pretty great. I've been impressed by Sheets at the plate. If anything, he's helping himself out to get away from the White Sox in the near future and join a real baseball team. But yeah, Gavin was kind of the one bright spot in this series. That and the Moncada double play that saved the game, which was really exciting.
Would have been a sweep if he didn't make that play.
Absolutely would have been. But yeah, credit where credit's due. Sheets has looked good. You mentioned we're about to head into series with Arizona, which is, somewhat resembles a Major League Baseball team. I know I've said 1,000 times on this podcast, it's over today. I've said that so many times. But if we do not sweep Arizona, it is actually over. I think if we come in here, especially with Arizona than Kansas City, we're 63 and 62. That's 6 games before we meet again on this podcast. If we are not 68 and 63, the
Yeah,
season
I think it
is
has to be
over.
five. It has to be five. I have a feeling it'll be 4-2, but it really needs to be 5-1 to
Why do you
demonstrate.
have that feeling?
And
Where
it's
did you
like
get this feeling?
the other thing on the positive side was that Giolito and Lynn both pitched a little better. They're coming out of it a bit, not maybe quite enough. Although, yeah, and Lynn still was throwing, I don't know, 127 pitches an inning. Lucas had a very efficient game. His
till
pitch count
till
was
the
well
end.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
he was moving along. He didn't have that feeling as well. I haven't gone to 3-2 on a guy for an entire batter. I better do that a couple of times in a row. Didn't do that, which was nice to see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lynn had a shaky start, settled down nicely. Giolito, we still can't get anyone to get through 7 innings other than Cueto, but uh, it was certainly a much of an improvement from Giolito. He looked pretty sharp. The changeup was looking a lot better. Lynn, who still just got no command of the ball, at least his stuff is starting to look a little bit more like the Lance Lynn that we once knew. So there's your bright spot pitching wise. Obviously, Cease continues to pitch well. Again, not to the degree that I would like him to, but he is obviously a great pitcher. I'm being hard on him because I supported him through the terribleness of the last few years. And now Kopech's out, so we're going to get to see who
Davis Martin. Davis
Davis
Martin's pitching
Martin.
Saturday. He's, for a guy who's an emergency, bring him up from the minors, Phil, and he's done fine.
Yeah, he's actually not been bad. I mean, you wouldn't want him necessarily as your everyday 3 or 4, but he has definitely done a nice job. We've had a few standouts from the minor leaguers coming up and just getting things done at least. Not as many as we would have liked, but that's okay. But Martin has certainly been somewhat of a bright spot there. Uh, Bullpen wise,
Is it? Well, I think we have. I've never seen it actually mentioned, and I'm too lazy to do the entire calculation. But I think we have the most expensive bullpen in the history of the game. We have to.
in the history of the game, you think?
Oh, I think whoever had, we got a $15 million, a $9 million, an $8 million, and then that's just the top three guys in payment.
Well, and that's
Who
after
paid
getting
you?
rid of another $15 million guy last
Yeah,
year.
and there was another $15 million in there. I mean, who pays bullpens that? Nobody pays bullpens that, uh, and gets this result.
Well, yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
and
there are some bullpens out there making money, but they're also throwing strikes, which is pretty cool. Hendricks, what I don't know what's going on there.
well, he was. I'll tell you what's going on. It's the same thing. They did the reverse with Cease. Steve Stone said multiple times on Tuesday they let him wait too long, where they reversed and put Kopech in front of him to face Kansas City, which was incredibly stupid. Why do you want to put extra innings on Michael Kopech even before you see that he's hurt? But it gave Cease 6 days off, and Steve Stone was saying that's not natural. That's not normal. It's going to hurt him. Watch, early in the game, he's going to be in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. Early in the game, he was in trouble. He says he'll straighten out by the third inning. I mean, Stoney, he protects the bosses too much because he knows who's signing his paycheck. But when it comes to pitching, he really knows his stuff. And they ought to listen to him instead of the Hall of
Oh,
Famer baseball person.
absolutely. I mean, we've joked about this before, but it's not even a joke anymore. Let Jason and Steve manage the team from the booth. It would be such a better team and baseball experience if those two guys were legitimately allowed to make all of the game time decisions while doing the broadcast. And the other thing is, they do great. they would do great if you made Tony double task, eating a nacho while writing his name. He couldn't do it, but those guys could manage a game from the booth. I would be fine with that.
They do have to take their
Unfortunately,
food breaks though, where somebody sends up a giant burger or something, and they have to
I'm
take one to
still
eat.
fine with it. I'm still fine with it. They could take 2 innings off each game, and we'd be in a much better place than we are with La Russa.
We haven't even
Um,
gotten to the 2023 schedule when we get to play a much harder schedule.
yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
We play every team in the National League. So basically, you can only play 13 games against your division foes, which instead of 76, it's going to be 52. So that's 24 games, pretty much all, in fact, more than 24 games, go over to the National League. You're going to play every team, I think, 3 times. And then the Cubs, because they're a rival, 4 times. You get a little benefit there. And then so your play against the East and West of the American League will not change appreciably. I think it's 2 fewer games. It's still 6 or 7 per team. But you'll be playing all the National League teams, which is going to be fun. You get to see some more National League players. If La Russa's gone, so I can go back to the ballpark. But
Yeah, I really like the schedule change. I like that everyone's going to play everyone. I think that's really fun. As soon as we got out of the realm years ago of American League and National League can only meet up in the World Series, which was very exciting. But that's been gone for ages with interleague play. So I love this. I love this. Let's let every fan see their team play every star. I think that's important. I think it's fun that we're going to have these pitching matchups that we otherwise wouldn't have had. We're going to get to see sluggers we otherwise wouldn't have gotten to see play against our squad. I think it's fun for the players too. You now get to play every team in Major League Baseball. I think that's really fun for them. When you're growing up wanting to play this game, you don't picture yourself with these while you're playing wiffle ball in the backyard saying like, Bryce Harper's up to bat. Well, no, he's not, because the Phillies actually wouldn't have played them that year. And now you can just do it. You can go willy-nilly with it. And I think that's really fun. It's not advantageous for the White Sox in any way,
no,
shape, or form.
no,
But
it could very well be. And I've seen commenters on our site ask the question: will we see a division winner with a record under 500? Now, if we do, it's going to be in the American League Central, because, well, the National League Central is even worse overall. Cardinals are pretty darn good, and Milwaukee's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, the Cardinals are very good. They have just found it. Let's just talk a little bit around the league. The Yankees are now in a division race, kind of, which
Well,
they're only up 7.5 games, and the Rays are surging, and the Blue Jays are still, getting it done. The Yankees are tanking hard. It's one of those where we'll
it's
see
mysterious.
highlight reels about it. It's very
particularly
mysterious
because they're now Giancarlo Stanton was out for much of the
Yeah.
collapse, and he came back last night and drove in 3 runs.
Yeah.
So that's going to make a difference. They may get their offense back with him, and he was certainly a key to it. And he was the guy batting after Judge, which I guess means that Judge gets a few better pitches to hit. I'd never give him a pitch to hit no matter what. But
Right. Yeah. And then another thing that's, of course, we knew this. The Dodgers have opened up an absurd lead in the
16
NL
games,
West.
something like.
It's up to 18 and a half, I think.
Oh,
which is just incredible, especially considering that was a division that was kind of expected to have 3 playoff teams, and might still. The Dodgers are unbelievable. I don't see a world where anybody can beat them. I just don't. They are
the Braves are coming on. They're playing very, very good baseball these days, but I don't think they're in a match for the Dodgers.
yeah.
Although the We went to a game at Dodger Stadium this year and watched them lose to the Pirates with Bueller on
I
the
think
mound.
they got swept by the Pirates at
Yeah.
home in that series. So unlike when the White Sox lose, clearly the Dodgers, because it's kind of since then the Dodgers have been unbeatable. They lost 3 to the Pirates, and they were like, never again. Never again. That is all the time we have for today, though. Do you have any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I'm keeping an ear out the window because the fat lady may just sing on the street.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. If we do not come back on here next week at 68 and 63 or better, we will officially be holding the season funeral for the Chicago White Sox. Um, it's almost laughable at this point, but also I am dead inside because we were talking on I think on the first week of the podcast this season talking about how do I come back to town for the playoffs? What do I do? How do we get World Series tickets? We failed in 2005. How do we get them this year? Well, you know, I'm sure it won't be that expensive to sit in guaranteed rate in November if you know the right people who can unlock the gate for you, as it will be empty, no doubt. But thanks so much for listening. We will see you, no matter what, with smiles on our faces next week on Sharing Socks.